Hi all, welcome back. We were discussing about the triggers and we were writing a couple of triggers. So hope you understood what is different types of triggers, that is before triggers and after triggers, and also the trigger context variables, that is more important. So we have those 12 trigger context variables, that is the DML events for trigger, those are 7. Okay. So that is before insert, before update, before delete, after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete. So these are the DML events which we supply for a trigger to trigger. Okay. So these are the 7. And coming to triggers, so within the triggers, we have 12 different context variables, trigger context variables. So trigger dot is insert, trigger dot is update, trigger dot is delete, trigger dot is undelete, trigger dot is before, trigger dot is after, trigger dot is executing, trigger dot operation type, trigger dot new map, trigger dot old map. These are the 12 trigger context variables which we should be aware of while we are writing any kind of triggers. Okay, so we have written a simple trigger for making the phone and rating industry fields as mandatory in our account records, right? So, I'm testing out a trigger again. Test once. So I don't want to supply industry warm. Let's say save. Account phone is needed. Okay, so our trigger is working. Click on save. Says industry is needed. So yes, it's working. Billing city, it's this is by the default field which uh, was working by itself. Okay, that's the default required field on our account object. Yes, so our trigger is working. This is, the second one which we did is on the lead object. So on the lead object, what we were doing is we were doing either insert or update operations. So while performing insert or update, we need to have phone, fax, email, and annual revenue. So let's go ahead and test that update event for a lead trigger. One second. So let's test our update trigger on our Ravi Kumar user. Okay, so I want to edit this particular late record and I want to miss the email ravi.kumar. Yes. So this means our trigger is working. Okay. Okay. Right. So the two triggers which we have written, those are working. The third one is, so similarly, I have a couple of assignments for you to do. These are simple based on the triggers which we have written now. So the next one is create a trigger on account object to prevent the deletion of related contact records. Okay. So here it's like we are going to make use of all the concepts, like we are going to write SOQL query, we are going to make use of multiple clauses in SOQL query, and we are going to make use of uh, the different methods which we have in our uh, collections, right? So all this we are going to do it. So let me share. So this is the last trigger which we have written. So so I have written that particular trigger, go to triggers, prevent contact, delete. Okay. So this is the trigger which will be preventing the contact delete. Uh, okay. So first, what I wanted to do is here, if you see, so trigger, prevent contact, delete, trigger on account, and this is before delete. Okay. So we were discussing that, right? Before delete of of an account record, I don't want the contacts record to be deleted. So the default behavior is account and contact lookup relationship, and record is deleted, related contact records are deleted by default. So that's the default behavior, but I want to bypass that default behavior. I don't want my contact records to be deleted when an account associated account record is deleted. Oh, right? So right, so trigger dot is delete and trigger dot is before, yeah, before delete, right? So these are the conditions, it's true. So what I'm doing here is I'm collecting the contact records into a list collection. So list of contacts. So here what I'm selecting is I'm selecting the contacts along with the account ID, because that's the account ID is the relationship field on contact object lookup relationship field. So that field I have to collect ID, name, first name, last name, email, account ID from contact, where account ID in. So trigger dot old map is the context trigger context variable on which the account records are going to reside, the old ones, the previous ones. So if you take trigger.new map, the current ones, but trigger.old map, the previous ones. And this key set is nothing but it returns the, so in map collection, what did we discuss? So we have a method called key set in maps, right? So trigger.old map is a type of map collection. Okay. And we are collecting the keys. So the keys will have the account ID. So this trigger.old map will have key and value pair. Key will have the account ID and value will have the complete account record. So I'm collecting the keys in that particular keys where my contact record ID related account ID is present. Those kind of contact records I'm going to select. So that means the account record which I'm going to delete For that particular account record, the account record ID is present in my related contact record. So those account record ID I'm going to collect, and I'm going to collect all those contacts which are related to that particular account ID. Okay. So, and list dot contact. So if it is not empty, what I'm doing is, so by default, it is going to delete, but what I am doing is I want to bypass that operation. So in that case, I don't want them to get deleted. Just because the relationship, the field gets deleted, the whole record gets deleted. So what I'm doing is, for I'm marking that particular relationship field value as null. That means it's not going to delete. It's just marking the null and then updating the contact records. So this is what we are doing in our trigger. So before trying to execute and perform this particular trigger, I wanted to show you, deactivate this particular trigger and show you what was the default behavior, because now that it is saved, so it's in active status, right? So yeah, go to the triggers, refresh, we have a new trigger, right? So prevent contacts delete trigger. So it's showing active, right? So let me first deactivate it and show you what's the default behavior, and then we can see is active, uncheck and save, inactive. Okay. So prevent contacts delete trigger, it's in inactive state. So now go to our contacts, sorry, account, and see an account which has a contact. Let's take an example. No contacts. Yeah, University of Arizona. Okay, so this is the account record which has a related contact record. So what I'm going to do, the default behavior is like, so I am going to delete this particular record. Okay, University of Arizona. So the contact, I will show you the, so this is our Miss Jane Gray is our contact record. Okay, and this is the account record. So I'm going to delete my account record. Let's see what is going to happen. Delete. Okay, it's saying it has so many opportunities. Yeah, correct. Let's try testing our test ones. Just now we created. So I wanted to create a new associated contact record for it. Test trigger is our contact. So last name is needed. Okay, so this is our contact record for our test one's account record. If you refresh, so this is okay. So this is our test one's account record, and I'm going to delete that record because it has a related contact record also. Let's see. So delete, right? So test one's account record got deleted. So let's see test trigger. This is our contact record, which was associated with our test one's account record. See, so when we are trying to view that particular contact record, it is not showing, right? So that means it got deleted. So here, if you see that test trigger contact is not present, right? So it got deleted automatically. So that's the default behavior because it's those are in lookup relationship, right? So now let's go ahead and activate our trigger again. So edit is active checkbox and then save. Right? So now it's active. Okay. So let's go ahead and test our data loader test account one. Okay. Oh, it has 3 contacts. Okay. So yes, this I remember we did it like while performing the DML operation merge. Okay. So 2 contacts we have merged. That's where the two accounts we have merged. That's where the contact records come into the merged account and set, right? So that's where we have 3 contact records in this test data loader test 7 account. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this particular account data loader test 7 account. Okay. And we will still have to see test contact 89, 7, and 8. So these 3 should still be there after deleting my account record. So that's what we were doing in our trigger. Okay. So let's go ahead and delete. Okay. So we deleted. So let's search for it. So 7 is not there, right? Data loader test 7. So it's not there. Okay. So let's go to our contacts, and these 3 contacts are there. Let me refresh. It should still be there, right? Okay, so of curiosity to which account it is related? No, these are not related to any account because the account which it was related has got deleted, but still this contact is there. As of now, this particular contact is not related to any account. Okay, so it's in the contact object, but it's not related to any account. So if you see the account name, it's blank because the associated account got deleted, and the trigger which we are trying to achieve, I mean, the trigger concept which we are going to, which we are writing in this has got achieved, right? So the related contact records has not got deleted. So we are bypassing that. So this is what going to happen. Now the trigger is in place. So on my org, if I delete any account record, the associated contact records will still be there. Okay. So this is what it is going to do in our trigger. All right. Okay. So there is one other example. Create a trigger on the account object to share account record to selected user automatically with the required level of access. So before writing this particular trigger, we will have to discuss the Apex sharing concept, right? So why Apex sharing? Because how we are going to deal with the sharing in our Apex, we have already discussed. So let me show you. Right. So if you remember, we have discussed this particular sharing mechanisms. So if we want to share what what all the things we are going to do. So we have 3 different sharing mechanisms: manual sharing, automated sharing, and Apex sharing, right? So manual sharing we have done. So individually we are sharing the records, and automated sharing also we have done. We have created sharing rules, as part of our configuration. But Apex sharing, we haven't done. Yes, we can achieve it with the help of Apex triggers, or okay, we can also write Apex class methods as well. So here, as we discussed, so manual sharing, we are achieving using the sharing button. Automated sharing, we are creating the sharing rules. And Apex sharing, we are writing the Apex triggers. So here, if you see, we have the level of access, that is read only, read write, and whether it is for single user or multiple users. So all these uh, things are present, right? So let me show you. Okay, so let's go to our account sharing rules demo. This is one account which we have created. So if we go ahead and check this particular account, so if we click on our sharing button, here we are going to see like with whom this particular account record has been shared, right? Shared with one group of users. If we click on edit, so it's the team leader user to whom this particular record has been shared, right? So we know that all the account related information is going to be stored on our account object, and right, and the case related on the case object, opportunity related on the opportunity object, right? Since account has the relationship between case and opportunity, that's where it is showing how to deal with the level of access for the related objects, right? So but where do we find so on the user interface we can find like where to whom it is shared in this particular place. So if we go and click on our sharing button and see where to which users this particular account record has been shared, we can see it. But programmatically, if I need to access this particular kind of information, where I'm going to find this uh, information, so that we were not sure, right? So yes, we have a concept of Apex sharing where we will be having a new object called as a share object, which will be available for each and every object where the sharing related information is stored in that particular object. Okay. So when the object OWD has been assigned as private, then if any user creates a record inside the object, the record will be visible only to the owner and his manager, right? So unless we do some kind of sharing mechanisms. So for us to share, so we can do the sharing in multiple ways as I showed you that. So right, so let's go ahead and discuss. Right. So all this level of access and to which users it has been shared, all those is going to be shared. All those information is going to be stored in an object called share object. Share object means not the share. For account objects, it's called account share. For contact object, it's contact share. So the naming convention is like this. Right. So this is the topic which we will be discussing. Right. So Apex sharing. So as we already discussed, like the different types of sharings. So when we set the OWD as private, only the owner and the manager will be able to see by default. But if we want to share, we have the different sharing mechanisms. To make the record visible to other users inside the organization, sharing mechanisms. So these are the three sharing mechanisms. That is manual sharing, which can be done using the sharing button. So if we want to share for like limited number of users with a limited number of records, so we go for manual sharing. But if we want to automatically share the records based on some criteria, yes, we have created the sharing rules for that. Okay, so as soon as a record gets created, the sharing rules gets automatically fired and it gets applied to the record created. And then the third one, so these two we have done complete hands-on experience also. So this is one which we are discussing now, Apex sharing, which can be done by using the Apex programming. So when I say Apex programming, you can write a class methods or you can write a trigger for sharing your records. So in order for us to access the sharing related information for programming, we have the object called share object, which will be available for each and every object. Where, okay, here one point I will have to say explicitly is this particular sharing information will be available only if the object's OWD setting is made as private only. Okay, so let me show you like where. So if you see, I wanted to open some objects. Let's go ahead and open some objects. So here, if you see, there is an object called account share. So this is the object which we are talking about. All the sharing related information will be stored in this particular object. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we have anything on our hiring manager object. Yes. So we have hiring manager object also shared. The reason is that we have marked the OWD setting for this particular object as private. So if you don't find the share object here, don't get confused, don't get panicked. That means the OWD setting is other than private, that is public. So if the OWD setting is public, there is no concept of sharing, right? So it's already shared with everyone in the org. So that's where this particular share object comes into picture only when the OWD setting is marked as private. Okay. So you can create an object, and if that particular object's OWD is marked as public, you will definitely not see the share object here. But whenever you go change the sharing settings as private, then the share object is available here. Okay. So what are the objects which we have created? Hiring managers, positions. Let's see if positions sharing information is available or not. Right, position, oh, PA. So where is our position object? Yes, even position object also, you see the share object is present. Okay. So that means this particular object OWD setting is made as private. Okay. So if you want to change it, let's go to our org, go to the setup, go to our OWDs, sharing settings, and in that OWD, right? This is where our OWD is. So if you see here, public read write transfer. So opportunity will have share, case will have share, right? Our price position, it's already public read write. Okay, so let's check for the lead object now. So lead object, if you see, there is okay, there is a share object. Okay, so that means the OWD settings has been changed. That's where you will see the share. Okay, we have created some sharing rules also. That's where you see this particular sharing. So coming to Apex sharing, so when the records, so while sharing records, we use the sharing rules. So by using the sharing rules, we have the below public group or roles and subordinates to whom we can share. We have to specify the level of access. Yeah, that is what we did while creating the sharing rules. Uh, right. So to make this, while doing this particular automated sharing, we were creating the sharing rules, but we will have to define the criteria for sharing while we are creating the sharing rule itself, right? So we cannot dynamically select the users to whom I want to share, or we cannot dynamically select the level of access, whether it's read or read write or read write execute, edit permissions uh, at the runtime. We cannot do that. But making use of our Apex sharing, we can do select the users at runtime. We can also select the level of access at the runtime. So to make the process dynamic, we use Apex sharing mechanism. By using Apex programming, we can share the record to the required users dynamically at runtime by selecting the required level of access based on the conditions. Okay. So to store the sharing related information, Salesforce provides a share object for each standard and custom object by default. Okay. So account, the share object name is account share. This is how the naming it is. Opportunity share, lead share, case share, campaign share, position. See, make a note of this particular difference. Position is our custom object. So the naming is position underscore C, whereas the share object for the position is position underscore share. So this is the naming convention for our share object. Right. So this is what we were. It's public, private, and public read only. If both of these options are there, then only uh, share object will be accessible. Share objects will be accessible if the object's OWD has been assigned as private and public read only. Okay. If it is given as public read write, then there is no need of share object, right? Let's go back to our objects again. So public read write, that's where So it should be either private or public read only. So our user has public read only. So user share will be there. So let's see public read write. So there is an object called product which has public read write permission. So let's see if this particular object has the share object product. See here product has public read write already. So there is no product share. Product share object is not present, right? Because it's already public read write. So there is no use of our share object. That's where we cannot find it, right? So that's what. So object share objects will be accessible if objects OWD has been assigned as private and public read only. So if it is public read write, there is no need of share at all because it's already publicly shared. Right? Account share object contains the below standard. Yeah. So these are the some of the standard fields which we have in account share object. So right, when we say an object, it has multiple fields, multiple records, right? So similarly, for the account share object, we have a couple of fields which we are going to discuss. Account share object contains the below standard fields. By using the object, we can share the account records by using the Apex program. So these are the fields which we have in our account share object. So if you want to have a small demo of what fields I have, let's go back to our developer console, go to the query editor, okay, and write down your query. Select Let's write a simple query first and then improvise on it, okay? So name is not a field in our account share object. So account share object has this object ID. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and write, okay, which are the fields which we have. So those fields first let us discuss and then write the query. Okay, so account share, ACC share is equals new account share. This is how we can create an object for our account share object. So account ID, this field contains the account record ID, which needs to be get shared, right? So the record ID is going to be stored in our account share object, user or group ID to specify the user ID or public group ID to whom the record will be shared. So this is also going to be present in our account share object. Then our account access level to specify account record access level to be applied to the user. So Salesforce provides the below three options, right? So for this field, we can give the values of like all, read or edit. All means it's a full control, read only access, and edit, it will grant both read and edit options. So these are the three options which we have for account access level. Opportunity access level, to specify the level of access applied to the related opportunity records. So we have this particular field on our account because account and opportunity are again lookup related, right? So that's where we can specify the level of access of our opportunity for our account record. And case access level also to specify the level of access applied on the related case records. So this also we can specify. Okay. And row cause is another field to specify the reason for sharing. So we will be mentioning the reason, like why it is being shared. So let's go ahead and query all these fields and see for our account. account ID, user or group ID, comma, account access level and case access level and opportunity access level. From account share where let's take some record. So the shared record we will have to take. Let's wait on this. Okay, so let's execute this particular code. Right. So we can see the account ID and the user or group ID to which it is shared, and also the access level, account access level. So for this user, they have given all access. And if you see a case and opportunity, so we see edit or edit access, right? So all these fields are going to be present on our account share object, and how we are going to deal with the users while through Apex programming, we will have to make use of all the fields which are available on our account share object. Okay, so let's go ahead and write an Apex program to share an account record to the selected user with required level of access as below. If annual revenue is greater than or equals to 10,000, sorry, 10 crores, 10 lakhs. It should be read write access, and less than 10 lakhs, it's read only access. Okay. Okay, 1 crore, right? Sorry, 10 crores. So this, yeah, let's, okay. So prerequisite is we will have to create a lookup field on our account object for the user object, because we will be providing the user information to which user this particular account record has been shared. So yes, we can do it. So let's go to our account record. Account object. Let's go to the object manager. Fields and relationship, and create a new field of type lookup for the user object. This is because I wanted to store the user information to whom this particular record is shared on my account object itself as a field. Okay. Lookup, click on next, related to user object. Next. Share record to, it's the field name, and help test. The username to which the record has been shared. Okay. And so the parent is my user object, and So I don't have, I am just directly sharing it. So I'm not creating any criteria. The custom field name can only contain alphanumeric characters. Okay. Spaces are not allowed. Yeah. Select the level of access. So I'm giving visible to everyone. And the layouts you can select. Click on save. Okay. So where is our lookup field? Share. Share record to. So this is our field which we have created, okay, on our account object. So let's show that field to be displayed. Account sharing helper. So let's go ahead and create a class for sharing helper. Right. So in this particular piece of code, what we were doing is we are sharing the record, account record to a user based on certain criteria, and we are also storing that user related information on our account object, and we are supplying the user dynamically to which user we want to share it, right? So that is what we were doing. So let's check it up. Okay, the error is because our field name is different. So here what we were doing is we are creating a class, account sharing helper class, and in that we are writing a method share account record. So string account name, to which account we want to share this particular record, that we are supplying at the runtime. Okay. So if account name is not null and also account name is not empty, so that means the while at the runtime something has been supplied, then only we are going to process this. So list of account LST accounts is equals to select ID, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, and our newly created field share record to underscore underscore C and active underscore underscore C from account where name is present in this particular account name. So account name, we are going to pass it and our name is present in that particular account. Okay, so if it is not empty, then what we are going to do, see here, we are going to create an object of our account share object list. So all the sharing information we are going to, which it's going to be appearing in our list of account share object. So that we are creating an object and we are traversing through for account record LST accounts. So if shared is not null, then what we are doing is account share. So we are assigning the values to all the fields on our account share object. Okay. Account share ID we are giving, user ID we are passing the user which is present in our location, and also the row cost we are passing the detail, and annual revenue. Yeah, this is the condition which we are checking. If the annual revenue is uh, greater than 10 crores, then it's edit access also. Otherwise, less than 10 crores, we are giving only read only access. So that is what we were doing in this particular lines. So then we are adding it to our account share list and updating it. Okay, inserting that particular record. So this is how we can write a simple sharing Apex sharing, which we can do it through programming also. So we have, for every object, we have an associated share object, which is actually going to store all the information related to the sharing. Okay. So that means to which users that particular account record has been stored, or that particular lead record has been shared to which users, and what level of access that users has been given, and also uh, whether it's a user or a group or a public group, or roles and subordinates. So all this information we are going to get stored in the share object. So when we are working with share, um, if we need to work on the Apex sharing, we will be working with the share objects for each. And this share object will appear only if the OWD setting is private or public read only. Okay. So if it is public read write, it's already shared to everyone. No need of sharing, right? So that's where the share object will not be visible. Okay. So coming back to our triggers, a small theory thing is pending. So trigger best practices. Trigger should support bulk records as well. Always use for loop to process the records inside the trigger. Okay. Always check for null pointer exceptions. Yeah. So while writing a trigger, you will have to go with the if condition. If something is not equals to null and something is not equals to empty, so the null pointer exceptions, you will have to check it first. That means that condition you will have to write for any type of conditions if you uh, want to write a business logic. Always use try catch. Yeah, the exceptions, different differentiate events with separate blocks to avoid trigger.new and trigger.old. Do not use DML operations inside the for loop. Yeah, this is one normal best practice. Do not use SOQL and SOQL inside the for loop. Okay, so for that we will be using our bulkification concept. We'll be using our collections, and then we will be using single SOQL or SOSL statement for the whole operation. Write proper classes and avoid recursiveness in triggers. Recursive triggers can be avoided by using static Boolean variables. Do not execute triggers on all update. Okay. So as a best practice, it's recommended to maintain only one trigger per object because we don't have the option in Salesforce to control the execution order of triggers, right? So that means there can be, if you write multiple triggers on one object, there can be a chances of the ambiguity because there is no proper order of execution for the triggers on one single object. Again, it depends on the criteria. If you define a trigger, one trigger as before trigger and one as the after trigger, obviously before trigger gets executed first and the after trigger next. It's recommended to maintain trigger handler factory, yeah, all those theoretical thing. Probably I would ask you to read order of execution. Right. So this is one other important interview question. So it can be what's the order of execution in Salesforce? So just go ahead and search the a specific order. So in that, this is also a part of it, order of execution in triggers. The original record is loaded from the database. The new record field values are loaded from request, all before triggers. Yeah, this is the main thing which comes in the order of execution of our Salesforce. So all the before triggers gets executed, then the validation rules, then the record is saved but not yet committed. After all, after triggers, then assignment rules, auto response rules, workflow field updates. So this is the sequence of execution. That means the before triggers first, then the validation rules, then our after triggers, and then assignment rules, workflow rules. So and this flow is fixed. Okay, just have more detailed information on order of execution in Salesforce. So this is the order of execution in Salesforce for triggers. Okay, so this is also one important interview question for order of execution in Salesforce and order of execution for triggers in Salesforce. So yes, and Apex sharing, we just discussed a small topic on it. Right. So this is all for today. I will be sharing the assignments and notes to you in the WhatsApp group. And yes, we will have, I would ask you to go through all the topics which we have covered in our the whole 60 plus 60 odd classes. I would ask you to go through all the topics and we will be having one session for just only for Q&A. Yeah, which is not going to be recorded, right? So we'll have a Q&A session as well. Probably by tomorrow we will be closing. Maybe day after tomorrow you can have that particular session. So go through all the notes, go through all the topics which we have discussed, and let me know if you have any queries. So that particular Q&A session only for your questions, okay? For your questions and doubts, clarifications, anything. So we'll have that particular class as the last class day after tomorrow. Yeah, right. That is all for today's class. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.